Assalamualaikum. We are from Group 5 and today we will present our statistical analysis project using the car price dataset. Before we begin, I would like to introduce our group members. Our group consists of Mohd ZARIF IRFAAN, SITI NURSYAHIRAH, NURUL IZZATI, MOHAMAD Farhan, NURFAHIMAH MAISARAH and AMALIN SOFEA. We work together on data preparation, analysis, interpretation and report writing. For this study, we selected the car price dataset and focused on four variables, which is price, horsepower, expression system, and car body type. Before conducting the analysis, the dataset underwent a data cleaning process and spelling inconsistencies were corrected, checked for missing values, and also duplicate records were performed, and no missing value or duplicate rows were found, and the analysis was conducted using IBM SPF statistic to analyze for sample test and one-way ANOVA. The selected variable consists of both numerical and categorical variable. Price and horsepower are numerical variable measured on ratio scale, while expression system and car body type are categorical variable measured on a nominal scale. This variable were chosen to analyze vehicle characteristic and investigate their relationship with vehicle price. There are three objectives in this study. First, to describe the characteristic of vehicle price and horsepower. Second, to compare the mean vehicle price between standard and turbo expression system. And this one we're using the sample t-test. Third is to determine whether mean vehicle price differ among different car body categories. And this method using ANOVA. For the sampling and data selection, we use simple random sampling, which give every vehicle in the dataset an equal chance of being selected and help reduce selection bias. Before sampling, the dataset was cleaned using Gemini AI, and the cleaning process involved checking for spelling inconsistencies, missing values, and duplicate records. Several spelling errors were corrected, while no missing values or duplicate rows were detected. This slide shows the prompt used in Gemini AI to perform the sampling process. After the dataset was cleaned, we instructed Gemini AI to randomly select 35% of the observation from the total dataset using a random seed of 11,499 and 96. The random seed was calculated using the sum of the last four digits of all group metric numbers, and using a fixed random seed ensure that the sampling process can be reproduced consistently. As a result, a final sample of 72 vehicles was obtained and used for the statistical analysis in this study.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Muhammad IRFAAN bin ZAIDIAKMA and my metric number is A23A2376. Now I will explain section 3.1, which is descriptive measure. Based on analysis conducted, the average price of the vehicle in the sample is 14,380.15, while the median value is 11,747.50. The standard deviation is 8,865.74, which show that there is fairly large price difference between vehicle in this data. Since the mean value is higher than the median, the distribution of the vehicle price is positively skewed, mean that there are some vehicle that are priced that much higher than more other vehicle. For the engine performance or horsepower, the average recorded is 109.63 horsepower. The minimum value is 52 horsepower, while the maximum value is 288 horsepower. This large gap show that the dataset contain various type of the vehicle, from low power vehicle for the daily use high performance vehicle. The aspiration system, the majority of the vehicle use the standard aspiration system, which is 62 vehicle of the entire sample. Only 10 vehicle use turbocharged system. This show that standard aspiration of this most dominant type in this dataset. Finally, for the car body category, sedan is the most recorded type with 38 vehicle, followed by hatchback 24 vehicle. Other categories such as wagon, hardtop, and convertible only represent a small part of study sample. Overall, descriptive analysis show that the dataset is dominated by sedan vehicle with standard aspiration system, while price and horsepower show quite large variation between vehicle. Next, I will explain about graphical representation. The first graph is a histogram of the vehicle price. Based on graph, most vehicles have price below 20,000. As the price increase, the number of the vehicle decrease. This pattern produce a distribution that's positively skewed to the right, where there are few vehicles that have price that are much higher than majority of other vehicles. This observation is also consistent with the result of the descriptive statistic that show the mean value is higher than the median. The second graph shows the histogram of the horsepower. Most vehicles have horsepower in the range 50 to 150 horsepower. Only a small number of vehicles have exceed 200 horsepower. Therefore, this graph also shows positive distribution to the right and prove that there is a significant variation in the engine performance of the vehicle study. The third graph is a bar chart of the car body category. From the graph, it can be seen that sedan are almost dominant category, followed by hatchback. Other categories such as a wagon, hardtop, or convertible have much lower frequency. The last graph is bar chart for the aspiration system. The graph shows that majority of vehicles use standard aspiration system, while only small proportion use the turbocharged system. This reinforces the finding obtained through the previous descriptive analysis.
Assalamualaikum. My name is NURUL IZZATI binti ILYAS. My matric number is A23A1943. Next, I will explain the significant level used in the study. The significant level, represented by alpha or A, is the probability of making a type I error, which occurs when a true null hypothesis is rejected. In the study, we use a significant level of 0.05 or 5% because it is widely accepted in the statistical research and provide a balance between reliability and decision making. To make a decision, the p-value obtained from the statistical test is compared with the significant level. If the p-value is less than or equal to 0.05, the null hypothesis is rejected. However, if the p-value is greater than 0.05, the null hypothesis fails to be rejected. This significant level was applied to both independent sample t-test and the one-way ANOVA that conducted in the study.
Assalamualaikum, my name is NURSYAHIRAH with JAMBRI. Number matrix is A23A1516. Now I will continue to present about the test. The main objective of this analysis is to determine whether basic price differ based on the type of operation system used. The independent variable in this study is operation system, which consists of two categories. The first category is the standard operation system, often referred to as STD, and the second category is the turbocharged operation system or turbo. The dependent variable is physical price, which is measured as a continuous numerical variable. An independent simple t-test was selected because it is designed compared to mean value of the continuous variable across two independent groups. In this case, we are comparing the variable average physical price of standard and turbocharged bicycle. Since the operation system has two separate groups and the physical price is measured on the radio scale, the independent simple t-test is the most appropriate statistical method for this analysis. Before conducting the analysis, two hypotheses were established. The null hypothesis states that there are no significant difference in the mean bicycle price between bicycle with a standard aspiration system and those with a turbocharged aspiration system. Meanwhile, the alternative hypothesis, OH1, states that there are significant difference in the mean bicycle price between the two groups. The independent simple t-test was then used to determine whether the difference in average price is statistically significant or not. Based on the p-value content, we can decide whether to accept or reject the null hypothesis. Now, let's look at the descriptive statistic. The results show that the bicycle which is standard operation system have an average price of 15,151.060, while bicycle which a turbocharged operation system have higher average price of 15,797.20. They indicate that turbocharged bicycles are generally more expensive by approximately 1,645.59. In addition, the standard value show that there are some variables in bicycle price which both group. Although turbocharged bicycle appear to have a higher average price, we still need to conduct a statistical test to determine whether this difference is significant. Next, we examine the result of 11 tests and the independent sample test. Event test produced a p-value of 0.283, which is greater than 0.05. This means the assumption of equivalence is made, so is the result from the equivalence assumed wrong. The t-test produced a p-value of negative 0.542 and p-value of 0.590. Since the p-value is greater than the significant level of 0.05, the difference in the physical price between standard and turbocharged bicycle is not statistically significant. Therefore, even though the turbocharged bicycle have a higher average price, the difference is not strong enough to conduct that the expression system affect the physical price. That's all from me. Now I will pass to my friends.
My name is NURFAHIMAH MAISARAH binti MASROL. My matrix number A23B1311. This part present about one-way ANOVA that was used to determine whether there is a significant difference in the mean vehicle price across 5 different car body styles, namely sedan, hatchback, wagon, hardtop, and convertible. ANOVA is suitable because our dependent variable, which is vehicle price, is a continuous numerical variable, while the independent variable, car body style, consists of more than 2 categorical groups. The hypotheses for this analysis were: the null hypothesis states that the mean vehicle price are equal across all 5 car body styles. The alternative hypothesis states that at least one car body style has a different mean vehicle price. Based on the ANOVA results, the F statistic was 2.462 with degrees of freedom of 4 and 67. The p-value obtained was 0.054. For the ANOVA table, the sum of square between groups was 715.12 million, which represents price variation caused by difference between car body styles. The sum of square within groups was 4.80 billion, which represent variation occurring within the same body style category. The mean square between groups was 178.78 million, while the mean square within groups was 72.62 million. Dividing these two values produce the F ratio of 2.462. Since the p-value of 0.054 is greater than the significance level of 0.05, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, there is insufficient statistical evidence to conclude that the mean vehicle price differs significantly among sedan, hatchback, wagon, hardtop, and convertible vehicles.
Assalamualaikum. My name is Mohd Farhan bin Muhammad Adwan. My matric number is A23A2660. This slide presents the box plot analysis of vehicle prices across 5 car body style, which is sedan, hatchback, wagon, hardtop, and convertible. From the box plot, hardtop and convertible vehicle appear to have higher prices on average. However, there is substantial variation within the categories. The hardtop category show an exceptionally wide interquartile range, while the sedan and hatchback category contain several extreme outliers with unusual high prices. As a result, the prices distribution overlap considerably across the different body styles. This overlap indicates that the variation within each category is much larger than the variation within the category. This visual evidence supports the one-way ANOVA result, which produce F4, 67 equals 2.462 and a p-value of 0.054. Since the p-value is greater than 0.05, we fail to reject the null hypothesis. Therefore, there is no statistically significant difference in mean vehicle prices across the 5 car body style, and no post hoc tests were required.
In conclusion, the study analyzed a random sample of 72 vehicles selected from the car price dataset using the simple random sampling method. Based on the descriptive analysis, vehicle prices and horsepower showed considerable variation among the sample vehicle. The majority of vehicles used standard expression system, while sedan was identified as the most common car body category. For the inferential analysis, the independent sample t-test showed that there was no significant difference in vehicle prices between vehicle with standard aspiration system and those with turbocharged aspiration system. Similarly, the one-way ANOVA showed that there was no significant difference in vehicle prices among the different car body categories. Therefore, there was insufficient statistical evidence that reject both null hypothesis. Overall, the findings suggest that aspiration system type and car body system did not significantly influence vehicle prices within the selected sample. Other vehicle characteristics may have a greater impact on vehicle prices and could be considered in the future analysis. Thank you.